I'm on the plan.
You got these extra years.
Yeah, I got these 10 extra years.
Travelin' Trav's Travelin' Diary, November 28, 2024. I woke up this morning and I looked over at campsite number 26 and I saw this man and this woman cooking Thanksgiving turkey for the travelers, preparing a meal for those of us who are taking home with us wherever we go.
And when you feel you can't go on, he will help you stand.
Today, we're going to listen to Carla talk about how she died and came back.
And I knew where I was.
You knew where you... I read about this
I
place.
knew where I was. It was like, oh yeah, no pitchforks, no fire, I'm good.
I heard about this woman who died and came back to life. A cyborg woman, she says, of the New Mexico mountains, who feeds the hungry and blesses the broken ones. Damn, she makes good gluten-free hush puppies. I heard about this brother who lost his hair while he was playing in a hair band. A brother of the strings who is rooted in the deepest rhythm, one who hungers for the most authentic musical experience. A brother who will make you a cup of coffee, leave you wondering just how awake can I get. Thank you, Steve and Carla, for inviting us to campsite number 26, and thanks for all the prep work you did to make this happen. You two are one of the most beautiful expressions of the simple truth that I've ever seen. You have obviously made this decision to open your hearts wide and live big. May God bless you in your comings and goings, all the way to the next beginning. May God guide you through the death and into the next birth. I see the one living love in you. Steve and Carla, you helped to make this last year of my life incredibly rich by introducing me to your friends and inviting me into your musical collaborations. You are helping me to discover my deepest musical expression as you share your deepest love. We all want to encourage you to keep cooking those turkeys, keep picking that guitar, that fiddle, keep singing, and continue to share the love. Here's Carla telling her story of her trip into the beyond and back.
You know,
The experience was not negotiable.
it was not negotiable. They gave me 3 days to live, and you could take this machine or you could die. And I wasn't really ready to die. I hope I can sing without crying. Not doing too well so far. Sometimes you have to climb that mountain when there's nowhere else to go, or cross over that river to get to the other shore. But God will walk with you, and He will hold your hand. And when you feel you can't go on, He will help you stand. Through the fire, through the storm, from midnight until morn. In our weakness, He is strong. That's pretty much the whole song. Except I go through a chorus of you are my strength, you are my power, you are my hope, my strong tower. And I repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
But I started in the wrong key, that's why I got so squeaky. But that's the way it was. It was like, you know, you're going to have to go through this, Carla. And God's telling me this. You're going to have to go through this. Because I'm not done with you.
Yes.
So I'm giving you this second chance. I felt like Jehoshaphat, you know, when he asked, was it Jehoshaphat who asked for extra days in the Old Testament? 10 years? And God gave it to him?
Okay.
It was weird because this device I have, it's about 10 years that it lasts. And so I feel like I'm on that plan.
Yeah, right.
I'm on the plan.
You got these extra years.
Yeah, I got these 10 extra years, and we'll see if it's more.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right.
If
No
it
one
will be
knows.
more.
Yes.
But
There's
it was
this
in my weakest hour
Mm-hmm.
that God came through. And the doctors couldn't understand why I wasn't afraid, why I wasn't stressed, why I didn't have anxiety.
Right.
Because I felt the tangible presence of God throughout the entire ordeal.
No fear.
The night before I died, because they implanted me and some things went wrong, and 3 days later, the night before that third day when I coded, I was alone in my hospital bed, and everybody had gone home who was there to support me, and I just started thanking God. And all of a sudden the room had this golden glow, and it was warm. It was like a hug. It was like a spiritual hug that you're not alone, my child. You're not alone. I'm here with you always. And that was what I felt in my heart. And I was encouraged. I was about to go through the most scariest thing ever.
Right.
I didn't know that, but God did. You know, and he was there to remind me just when I was going to need it the most. And so it was a beautiful thing. And the next day they started pulling tubes out and I started hemorrhaging. And I coded real fast. It was very painful and it was very frightening.
Oh, wow.
But he was still there.
Yeah.
I found myself in that quiet, still place. And I saw that blue-white light coming towards me. That little light of hope. And I heard the angels singing. And you can't really describe that because you don't have ears. You don't hear. It resonates through your body, through your being. You don't have a body either. It's hard to describe because there's no physical...
Where song is no longer frequency as we understand it.
But it is resonance.
Okay.
And that resonance felt like joy and love and peace rolled into one feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. And as the light got bigger and closer, then I could see where the sound was coming from. It was coming from the mouth of the seraphim angels that were worshiping God. And I could see his glory, his light reflected off of their faces and their wings and their robes. And I knew where I was.
You knew where you... I read about this place.
I knew where I was. It was like, oh yeah, no pitchforks, no fire. I'm good. I'm good. I made it. With all my flaws and all my shortcomings, I have made it to the pearly gates.
Here we are.
And he let me stay long enough to know that's where I was.
Yeah.
And there was a peace there. And there was no stress. There's no worry. There was no anxiety. There was no fear. It was just like a feeling of peace through every fiber of your being. And then he let me go. And I was snatched back, and the code sirens blaring, and people are running around.
Man, back in the world.
Back in the world.
Back in the world.
Like,
where your body's
okay.
in deep trauma.
Where my body's in deep trauma,
Oh my
where
God.
I'm being revived from having died. And that was, I was there, I knew I was there, I knew when I wasn't there, and I knew where I was when I wasn't there. And no one can take that away from me. With logic or whatever they want to use.
Yes, you began telling this story when we were talking about faith and the choice to believe and what that's like.
Yep, and everybody should have that choice. We should not take choice of any sort away from any other human being. That is a God-given right. He gave it to us.
Ain't it just like a resurrected life to pick up a fiddle? Yeah, Carla learned to play that violin. I love to see people willing to do the hard work and find that devotion on a new instrument. And Steve, this brother, is one of my greatest critics, and I mean that with the highest regard. Like, he calls me to authenticity, and I believe these are the relationships that are incredibly important when we find out how to do that for one another, how to believe for one another and with one another, as we move through our pain and our death and into some different experience, something deeper, the deaths and the rebirths. So thank you all. Thanks, Reinhardt, Deb, and John, for sharing this Thanksgiving with all of us. May the Lord bless you and keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you, and give you peace.